The desert sun beat down on ancient Egypt, casting long shadows over the pyramids and the vast stretches of sand. The heat was relentless, a constant reminder of the harshness of the land. Among the dunes, a flower bloomed, defying the arid environment. It was a rare sight, a symbol of life in a place where survival was a daily struggle. It shimmered, radiating an otherworldly glow that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The flower's beauty was mesmerizing, captivating anyone who laid eyes on it. Legends whispered of its magic. This flower granted immortality, a gift coveted by many but possessed by none. Stories of its power spread far and wide, reaching the ears of those who dared to dream of eternal life.
A young pharaoh, Tutankhamun, yearned for eternal life. He was determined to find the flower, believing it held the key to his everlasting reign. He sent his best men to find the flower. They searched for days, braving the scorching sun and the treacherous sands, driven by the hope of fulfilling their pharaoh's wish. Finally they found it, nestled in a hidden oasis. The sight of the flower filled them with awe and relief, knowing their quest had not been in vain.
Tutankhamun held the flower, feeling its power course through him. The glow of the petals reflected in his eyes, a promise of the immortality he so desperately sought. Its petals pulsed with energy, each beat resonating with the heartbeat of the pharaoh. The air around him seemed to vibrate with the flower's magic. He closed his eyes and made his wish, his heart filled with hope and anticipation. He envisioned a future where his reign would never end, where he would be remembered for all eternity. He wished for his reign to last forever. He swallowed the flower, feeling its essence merge with his own. The desert air crackled with magic, a sign of the powerful forces at play. But immortality, it seemed, had other plans. The once bright and hopeful scene turned dark, a sense of foreboding settling over the land. The true cost of his wish was yet to be revealed. Centuries later, New York City throbbed with life. Tiva, a young black woman with a quick wit and even quicker smile, navigated the crowded streets. She stopped at a street vendor. Amongst the usual trinkets, a flower pulsed with a familiar light. It called to her.
"This one's special," she rasped.
Tiva bought the flower, its glow warming her hand.
This wasn't your average daisy. This flower pulsed with an inner light, its petals shifting colors like a kaleidoscope.
Tiva had bought it on a whim from a street vendor, drawn to its otherworldly beauty. But Chinky was captivated. He'd sniff it, lick it, and try to take little nibbles whenever he could.
You're obsessed, dude.
Tiva would tease, gently pulling Chinky away. The flower was strange, sure, but it livened up their little apartment. Little did she know the flower held a power far beyond its beauty. One day, Tiva caught Chinky actually biting off a petal.
Chinky, no!
She scolded, rushing over. The little pug looked up at her, eyes wide and glowing. Before she could process it, the flower pulsed brightly, bathing the room in an ethereal light. Tiva's boss, Troy, was the exact opposite of her. Blind since birth, he navigated the tech world with an almost supernatural intuition. Quiet, reserved, a genius coder. Yet there was an undeniable spark between them. Their connection was their shared passion for technology.
Late nights debugging code turned into whispered jokes, shared takeout, and stolen glances.
It was a secret affair, hidden in plain sight within the walls of their tech company. Troy's blindness wasn't a barrier for him. He saw the world through sound, touch, and emotion. He saw Tiva for who she truly was, sensing the fire that burned beneath her nerdy exterior. One rainy Tuesday, as we huddled over a particularly frustrating algorithm, our hands brushed. A jolt ran through me, and I knew Tiva felt it too. The air crackled with unspoken desire. That night, still buzzing from her encounter with Troy, Tiva noticed the magic flower looked different. It pulsed with an even brighter light, beckoning her. She remembered Chinky eating the petal, the strange glow in his eyes. A wave of recklessness washed over her.
What the hell?
She muttered, impulsively snapping off a petal. It tasted like sunshine and starlight, a burst of energy flooding her senses. She called Troy, her voice breathless.
You have to try this,
she said, describing the flower and its effect. Intrigued, he agreed. He arrived at her apartment, a question mark etched on his face.
Trust me,
she whispered. The moment Troy swallowed the petal, the room erupted in blinding light. The flower seemed to explode with energy, tendrils of light wrapping around them both.
This was not what I expected,
Tiva screamed, fear battling with exhilaration. As the blinding light enveloped them, Tiva and Troy felt an electrifying surge course through their bodies. The room around them morphed, turning into a vibrant stage adorned with neon lights and pulsating speakers. They looked down to find themselves clutching gleaming microphones, their outfits transformed into street-style gear. Tiva, eyes wide with a mix of astonishment and excitement, glanced at Troy. He mirrored her expression, his face a canvas of disbelief and thrill. As if guided by an unseen force, they began to rap, words flowing effortlessly, their voices syncing with an intense, hypnotic beat. Their lyrics told a story of magic, love, and transformation, the rhythm weaving through the air like a spell. The energy was palpable, a living entity that connected them to the audience they couldn't see but could feel. Their performance reached a crescendo, the beat dropping harder, their voices rising in unison. The stage lights flashed and flickered, matching the intensity of their newfound power. With a final powerful verse, they ended their impromptu performance, the room returning to its original state. Breathing heavily, they looked at each other, a new understanding and bond forming between them. Tiva grinned, her voice barely more than a whisper. A fire is born. The fire ignites, and with it, a new era begins. The flames dance, casting shadows that tell stories of old and new. The journey has just begun, and the magic is only starting to unfold.